So, uh, first round, I was upset with Melissa Martinez. I thought she was about to stink up the joint. And I know I'm not alone. I'm looking at the TV like, no, don't do this. Melissa, don't do this. It is better, no matter what, it's better to stand your ground. Don't you dare do this the entire fight. Round two, now I thought she lost round one. I thought Martinez lost round one. She expended a lot of energy with all that running, all that running. She was running that first round. And I'm saying she was running because she had several opportunities to clock Fatima Kline and didn't because she was too busy running away. I know some of you recall an opportunity she had when she was up against the cage and Fatima Kline came in with, I think, like a kick, and then she ended it with a left hook, Fatima Kline, but she missed. And as Martinez was moving laterally, she had a wide open, clear shot. I mean, right on Fatima Kline's chin, actually. But she was too preoccupied with running away in that first round that she just ran away from it. So I think, it's Martinez's style. I think she's one of those fighters that, in the first round, she's got to feel you out first. She don't want to really engage too much in the first round. The first round is a feel around. And she feels you out by being on the move constantly. I guess she's trying to, test your power. She don't really want to put herself at risk early in the fight. It's only after she gets comfortable with your power, with your style, with your movement, does she try to stand her ground in this fight. And I suspect that her corner told her to stand her ground more and probably informed her, hey, you just lost that first round. Don't go out there doing that again. And at the start of the second round, Melissa Martinez starts to stand her ground. And I admit, I applauded her for it. I know this is the perfect fight to criticize what I believe Melissa should have done, which is, hey, stand your ground. Stand your ground. And standing her ground got her knocked out. But I believe she expended a whole lot of energy in that first round, and that she shouldn't have. And another reason I think she started to stand her ground starting in the second round, because she was tired. I think she realized, I can't do all this running this whole fight for another 2 solid rounds. Can't be moving around and running like that. You conserve energy by standing your ground. And I believe that if she would have done that in the first round, she would have been better off in the third round. I believe she would have been more effective at standing her ground had she started fighting that way in the first round, because she would have used all that energy to stand her ground. Her shots would have had a little more power, and she would have had a lot more energy for the whole fight. But a big problem that she had, even if she had energy, she was going to have this problem anyway, because she kept doing that. She kept leading with a power hand, a power punch, and dipping her head to the side like that. I mean, it was constant, and she was not holding her hands up. I know y'all saw that. I'm looking at that like, man, this girl is leaving herself wide open. When Fatima Kline, hold up, 1 second. That dog on. Wait a minute. All right, sorry about that. You can't do that with Fatima Kline, in my opinion. You can't be going in there with your hands down, leaning to the side, leaning to the left. If you watch the replay, you'll see that Melissa actually thought about throwing a jab, leading with a jab. And I think she should have. But instead, she led with a power punch. And as she led with it, linked right into a shin. She linked right into Fatima Kline's shin. You really can't play with Fatima Kline like that. She actually has, for a female, okay, let's say for a female, a respectable number of stoppages, knockouts, TKO victories. We all know that, knockouts among the women is rare. I mean, look at her record before Melissa Martinez. I know she had a small record, but man, even got a submission down here. But look at this. TKO, another TKO. She had a TKO in her most recent fight against Dudakova and got another TKO tonight. That's kind of rare with the women to even have this many TKO victories. They fought at 115. Maybe it's just me, but man, both of them, Fatima Kline and Melissa Martinez, looked a lot smaller than Lauren Murphy and Eduarda Moura. I know Moura blows up on fight night. Wait, whoa, what's this? Okay, this is why I don't like Sherdog. But yeah, even if she was full of energy, Martinez, they're going to have to correct that as soon as she gets back to training. I'm talking about Melissa Martinez. Keep your hands up. Stop dipping, and especially if you're going to lead with a power shot, you're leaving yourself, your entire side of your body wide open. All for what? For a power punch that you're most likely going to be out of range for. Go back, look at the fight. Look at how many shots both of them were throwing that were out of range. But with Fatima Kline, man, you know she gets her legs up there in no time. She flicks those kicks up to your face like effortlessly. And, she got caught. Melissa Martinez got caught. And I think Martinez would have lost anyway. I thought Martinez lost the first round and that she may have won the second, maybe. But I felt like she was on her way to losing the third round as well. But she was stopped by Fatima Kline. Now, listen, don't be surprised if Fatima Kline eventually makes her way up through the ranks. Why do I say that? She's only 25. She is only 25. Fighters like that I look at as more of the future of the division. Fighters like her and many of the other young fighters. At 25, you're getting these many stoppages, okay? You got a respectable number of wins in your win streak, and the win streak that you do have. But keep in mind, she lost to Jasmine Jasudavicius. Jasudavicius, who, by the way, is pretty high up in the rankings. And another fighter who, I sort of look at as the future. But she's older now. I think Jasmine is closer to 30, if not past 30. How old is she? She's 36. Lord. 36 years old. Older than I thought she was. So, yeah, Fatima Kline, I expect to see more of her, especially with getting victories like that. There's a real good chance that when your contract, every time your contract runs out, they're going to renew it. They're not going to cut you, especially as a woman, if you're getting knockouts like that. And remember, she was the champ at Cage Warriors, and obviously the prolific ground fighters are the ones who's going to give her problems. Talking about Fatima Kline or some of the strikers. Now I'm going to move along because I want to talk about a few more things other than these two fights. Eduarda Moura, Lauren Murphy. Eduarda Moura, I think, has a stamina issue, a stamina problem. She has a stamina problem. There's no reason why she should have been struggling in the third round against Lauren Murphy, in my opinion. Especially if you, Moura, prefer to strike, and if you are, pretty good at stuffing takedowns. Moura likes to box. She likes to box. And if you like to box and you got pretty decent takedown defense, Lauren Murphy is a dream fight for you. She'll be your punching bag. You want a stoppage? That's the perfect opponent to get it against. But in this fight, Moura's stamina started to fail her. The third round of this fight was the worst round for Moura. The third round. She was sloppy. She every now and then had to take a break. Those moments where she would, walk away, walk away from Lauren Murphy, she was catching her breath. She was catching her breath. Breathing. Walking laterally, throw a few shots and then she needs a break. She throw a few shots and then she needs a break. And if you notice, the shots that she would throw, they were not heavy combinations. She was getting tired from pot shotting. She throw a 1-2 and need to recover. So she seems too flawed to me. And I've talked about this before. She seems too flawed to me to be a fighter who's going to make it up and challenge the champion. I don't think she's going to challenge the champion. And she really couldn't even, she almost got stopped. She got so tired. And she should have been stopped here. It's like, what in the world, Lauren? I thought it was over. But she was so sloppy. She was so tired in that third round. Lauren Murphy almost guillotined her. Cannot even make this up. Not only that, Lauren Murphy was landing those grandma punches square in Moura's face. Right in the middle of her face. In the third round, mind you. Lauren Murphy had a better gas tank. Easily better gas tank. And her gas tank is what gave her an advantage over Moura in the third round. That is not the last time we're going to see Moura dead tired. That's not the first time we've seen her dead tired in the third round. How do you think she'll do in a 5-round fight? Yeah, I don't think so. If she's going to improve her cardio, I think she's going to have to move up in weight. Remember, Moura's that chick who has a hard time. She's one of those chicks who have a hard time making weight. You can actually tell by the loose skin in this little picture here. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on real fast is the possibility of a super fight. This would be such a crazy fight that I want it to happen. But I don't want Weili to move up to 125. I don't want her to do that. If she does that, 115 would be a totally different division. And I think Verna would be the rightful champion. Weili seems like she, really wants this fight. But if she adheres to the demands of the UFC, then she will have to move up and stay there if she defeats Valentina Shevchenko. You know, no more of that double champ stuff. Okay, fine. All I'm saying is, I have already envisioned the fight in my head. And I'm telling y'all, that would be it would be bananas. That is a super fight. And it's really the only super fight possible right now. And it's so difficult to get super fights for the women. It's so difficult. We've never even had the strawweight versus the flyweight champion. We haven't had that yet. And just the energy around Weili in one corner and Shevchenko in the other, that would be crazy. So I don't know if they're actually trying to work towards that, but I'm telling you now, if they are to announce the fight, I'm not going to be happy at how it's going to destabilize strawweight division, but will it even destabilize it? Because I don't think there's that many people who want to see Werner Jandiroba against Weili. It's not that many people who want to see that. And if Weili takes the fight against Werner, defeats Werner, what does she do after that? What does she do after that? At 115, it's urgent for these other fighters to move up. It's urgent. They need to hurry up and move up through the ranks. Tatiana Suarez, I think she is multiple fights away from a rematch. Same with Yan Xiaonan. Same with Amanda Lemos. Same with Jessica Andrade. And Mackenzie Dern has already come out and said she ain't ready for Weili Zhang. Weili is in a horrible spot if she stays at the strawweight division. Aside from Werner, that's the only fight that makes sense right now. But let's say she takes that fight and wins. Man, we're going to be talking about Amanda Ribas versus Weili Zhang. And even that don't even make sense. Her potential opponents are dwindling. They're not looking good right now. We need, at the top of the division, the likes of Denise Gomez, Loma Lukbumi. I'll even throw Lupe Godinez in there. Luciendo as well. Jillian Robertson as well. We need those fighters at the top of the division. And to be honest, you know, I think it would be in their best interest to just throw them up there. Like, who cares? Who cares? And if you don't, just give them a title shot anyway. If your division is just, if your champion is in a situation like Weili is in, then do it. Do it. Valentina is not. They both got a worthy contender. I'm waiting on the announcement of Silva versus Valentina. Either way you chop it up, Shevchenko, her next two fights are going to be a serious challenge for her, if you ask me, in my opinion. Her next two fights. Now, you see Weili out here training with Alexa Grasso. That makes me think that they're, about to make this fight. Because why are you training with Alexa Grasso, a fighter you actually challenged at one point? She challenged Grasso when Grasso was the champion. But Grasso had to fight Valentina 3 times. Now you're training with Grasso? Okay. And if they make that fight, man, don't think that's going to be an easy fight for Valentina at all. Weili is strong and she's wild. She's crazy strong, and it's a controlled chaos. Controlled chaos with Weili that Shevchenko really don't have. And y'all know I've said it's that controlled chaos, the willingness to go all out and tee off. That's what gave Grasso an advantage over Valentina, especially when they struck. Her willingness to just tee off, go all out, walk into the line of fire, take risks in order to land on Valentina. Do not think that that's going to be an easy fight. Now, Shevchenko could very well, slap on a submission and stop Weili early. That's always a possibility. But if both fighters are able to get off and get into the fight, man, Shevchenko is going to be up against it. Now, granted, Shevchenko will have a size advantage. But how much of an advantage do you really think she's going to have if she just had to have a trilogy with another former strawweight in Alexa Grasso? Shevchenko, I don't think, is the type of fighter to have her weight advantage work as an advantage for her. And I honestly don't see her being able to stay on top of and blanket Weili the way she did Alexa Grasso. And I honestly think Shevchenko will try to avoid that style if she were to fight Weili anyways. So we'll see what they do. If they announce the fight, I won't be disappointed. And one more thing. 135 is getting more interesting just a little bit. Norma Dumont, I think, is probably, she's one of the biggest threats right now to the title. Norma Dumont. Okay. They announced, if I'm not mistaken, Norma Dumont against Raquel Pennington. That is going to be a huge challenge for Norma Dumont. And, I almost got a feeling Norma's going to lose, like, badly in that fight. I don't know. I hope she don't. I'm going to be rooting for Norma. But actually, no, I'm not. But we already seen Raquel as a champion. But I think Raquel would have a much better chance at defeating Kayla Harrison. But you already know they're about to make that Kayla Harrison Amanda Nunes fight, which is crazy and in my opinion counterproductive to the division. But if Kayla is able to hold on to that belt, if she beats Amanda Nunes, I don't think Nunes is going to hang around. She's not going to hang around. She's going to go back into retirement. And she shouldn't even come out of retirement. Let this division get situated. Let them figure out, their position. You already got a few fighters in the division who might move up. And you also got somewhat of a revised version of Jocelyn Edwards. Amanda Nunes should stay in retirement. All right. And I think I've said everything I wanted to say. I'm going to go back to this fight card.